to another episode of The Amanda Hill Show. Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode. So lovely to be here with you today. I hope today's message finds you at the most perfect moment, as always. Vibes are just feeling so nice right now. I had a really lovely weekend. Spending time with some people who really fill up my soul. And yesterday I was just a random Tuesday, and I found myself working away, and Matt yelled out to me, "Do you want to come to Phillip Island with me?" And I looked at my schedule and I was like, I was meant to actually record this episode then, as in yesterday. And I thought I could probably just rejig that and do that tomorrow. And I yelled out yes, and I think he was quite surprised. He's like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, as long as I can go surfing while you go and see your clients." So I got to have a surf yesterday, which was just the best because I haven't been actually for a few months since moving to Franger. So every second I was just lapping it up and didn't stop paddling. Was just like wave after wave and was absolutely like pooped on the way home. I was like a little kid, like napping in the passenger seat. And then today, like, the rain's just starting to come in. I think it's going to be a bit rainy the next few days, and I've got this day at home working on my heart projects. So you know when you've had a few days of like being with people and being outside in nature, and then you get a day where you just feel snuggled up and ready to be inside. I'm in that place today. So I'm just set up on the spare bed in our house to share this message with you today. So I hope you're really well wherever you are. I'm actually so excited. I don't think I've ever been so I don't know what the word is. I just feel as though this message today is so aligned and that it's really gonna land, because I've seen it when I've shared it with people in the flesh. I've seen the sense of relief and understanding and freedom that can come with this. So I'm thrilled for you to receive this message today. I have to start with one thing. What's your flavour? Oh, tell me what's your flavour. I just, honestly, if I had like some super flash editing or system or editor, I could get someone to like put the recording of, I think it's Craig David, of that song in. But because I don't at this stage, I just had to sing it for you. I feel like it had to be done. Anyway, last episode we spoke about comparison, and today's conversation is going to add to that and offer another exploration and really grounding into the magic that is you. So I often say that I'm never really sharing groundbreaking information, but if you are open to it, and if you allow, so our ego wants to say, "Oh yeah, I understand," like straight away. But if you can open yourself to let this settle in and really to feel it in your bones, this message today will actually change something in you. And I really feel that and believe it. So I invite you to come into that space of openness with it. So we might come into the breath together to acknowledge that openness. coming into a sense of spaciousness as well. So just breathing into your belly. As you exhale, letting go completely. Let's do 2 more of those. So breathing in. And letting go. And 1 more, breathing in. And letting go completely. And of course, if that feels really nice, continue to allow that breath to the belly as you listen in to this conversation. And we're talking ice cream flavors today. And ice cream, to be honest, it's got to be one of my life's greatest pleasures, if I'm honest. And last year I had the pleasure of experiencing what I believe was the world's greatest ice cream flavor to me. I finally found it. It's like when surfers look for like the perfect wave. It's like a quest. I found my favorite ice cream flavor ever. So Matt and I were staying in Maroochydore. This was during our road trip to Queensland last year. And we walked from our campsite after dinner and found an ice cream place. It was actually just like part of this little IGA. So really unexpected. You would more so expect the stock standard flavors. But you're looking through the glass, there probably would have been around 10 flavors, and I just saw one that said Stairway to Heaven, and I was like, oh, I've never had the Stairway to Heaven before. And I looked at it and I was like, I think that's something I'd like. And so it was vanilla and choc chip, and it had a caramel swirl through it, and that was like the icing on top of the cake for me, because I love each of these elements. Like, I love vanilla ice cream, I love the choc chip, but the caramel swirl, I was just like, oh my god, this is it. Like, this is everything. And every bite I was just like, oh my god, best ice cream ever. And I was like, why is this not everywhere? But also it was all leading up to that. So how does this relate, apart from you guys obviously being really happy for me that I found my best ice cream ever? Well, last year I was running a women's circle called Feminine Embodiment, and it was over a 6-week period. There were 6 of us in the circle, and during our first exploring your own. So if you can imagine us all sitting on our own cushions in a circle, what I'm speaking to here is that sense of staying in your seat, so staying in your cushion while someone else shares their experience. And even, welcoming the whole spectrum of yourself. So often in circle, people are sharing different things, and sometimes there might be emotion with that. And often what our automatic response is when someone's sharing emotion is to go straight over to them and comfort them, which comes from a beautiful place, yeah. But in circle, I actually invite us to come into that space that, like, if someone's sharing emotion, to just hold space, which means actually staying in your seat, in your energy, and just offering that non-judgmental space for people to share what they need to without it being this big deal that like, oh, get them a tissue, like make it stop sort of thing. Anyway, that's a little side note. Why I wanted to speak about that was, I was talking about staying in your seat, owning your own energy, and then I just started talking about the ice cream flavour. And I was like, every woman has a different flavour. And when I said it, we all kind of looked at each other. We had this moment. It was like, oh yeah. And during this women's circle, I was speaking to women, but I of course want to broaden this and acknowledge every person has a different flavour, okay? So as humans, we definitely have more similarities than we have differences, right? But those unique differences are what make us who we are. So we went around our circle and each woman shared their ultimate ice cream flavour. And you know, the real description of whether it's like, because I know some people like the cups. I'm more of a waffle cone gal, all about the waffle cone. So yeah, I was like, share in as much detail as you can, like this flavour, this ultimate ice cream flavour that you adore. So, you know, there was peppermint in the room, there was almond, boysenberry, etc. And then I said, okay, so over the next 6 weeks, we're going to be bringing our own flavour to the group, and we're also going to get to know each other's. And then I paused, and sort of here's the bit I want you to really listen and take in, is that when we acknowledge that we have our own personal flavour that no one else has, and we respect and we have reverence for that, we are able to enjoy someone else's flavour without that charge of, I don't have that, or I should be more like that, etc. Or whatever the story is that we tell ourselves. So if you've done a men's or a women's circle or any type of intimate circle that's over a length of time, what you will have experienced as well is that when someone's missing from it, because you go into this sacred space, it's like this soul contract that group of people have for a certain amount of time. When someone's missing from it, it feels really strange. And this happened the first time, because we were working with this theme of flavours, when one of the women were away from feminine embodiment, someone was like, oh, I just miss her flavour. And we chatted about this and we're like, it's just so apparent that there's something that person brings that no one else can bring to the table. And I get the goosebumps. Yeah. And that was really missed, you know. And the other aspect to this is with comparison, we can say or think to ourselves, like, I want to be like them. But I've really been reflecting with this whole flavour concept, and I don't actually think it's that we want to be like them. Say the them that you are comparing yourself to, their flavour is honeycomb, for example. It's not that you want to be honeycomb, it's that you actually want to be more of your flavour. And if honeycomb is owning her flavour, you're just like, damn, I want some of that, you know? Not some of honeycomb, but I want some of that in terms of owning my own flavour. Does that make sense? Like, it's a yearning for more of your soul's expression to come through, not to be a carbon copy of someone else's. So a few weeks ago, I was asked to speak at an event. They asked me to speak about embracing you, like embracing yourself and your women. And I was like, oh, could talk about this for a few hours. So I was like, okay, less is more. What's the one thing that I could share with this group that would be most powerful, that would be of most service? And straight away what came to mind was this concept of the flavour, because I'd seen how transformational that understanding of it was within that women's circle last year. And so those of you that teach anything will possibly relate to this. It's like when you are teaching something, you often get schooled in it yourself. I've talked about this in the podcast, like in the lead up. Like the universe offers you an up-leveled experience of what you're going to share about, which is what happened to me the day of this event. So let me share for a sec. The day of it, I woke up a little nervous. Just that, you know, a few butterflies, like, okay, I'm speaking tonight. And I decided that morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a new outfit and maybe get my hair done, you know, got this speaking event. So I went shopping, and you guys know how, like, sometimes you go shopping and all the stars align and you just have this, like, amazing shop attendant and you find the thing that you want and you're just like, yes, this is on point, like, it's all happening. And then other days, like, it's just not vibing. Like, you don't find the thing you want. Well, I had one of those days. I could not find anything that I wanted. And I ended up in a shop with a lovely attendant, she was actually. And I explained to her the event I had on that night. And she had me trying on, like, everything in the shop. You know, when you get to that stage where you're like, I just know it's not here. And then I was getting, like, all flustered because, you know, it's quite warm that day and you're trying on a lot of things. And because the time was then getting away from me, I was like, oh, I'm not going to have time to get my hair done. And, you know, it must have been like the 20th thing I tried on. I was just like, fuck, I need to get home and, like, do a meditation and, you know, get my energy right. Like, this is just, I'm going to be all off if I go like I am right now. And I just looked at myself. I just tried on another thing, looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, Mandy, this is not happening right now. You know, and you, like, have a word with yourself. I was like, how about we go for a swim at the beach, go home for a yoga nidra, and then just wear something you've already got. I was basically saying to myself, like, just go as you. So I went for a swim, and as always, it was the best thing I could have done. I felt like all the anxiety and, like, frustration that was building just kind of washed off me. Did my meditation, found an outfit, something that was me and I felt super comfortable in. It wasn't new, but it was, you know, it felt like me. And I was like, oh, I might need to dress it up with some heels. And I pulled out, I have one pair of heels. It's basically saved for weddings. And I pulled them out and they were actually just filthy from the dance floor at the last wedding that I went to. And Matt was home and I said to him, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wear my RMs. Now, if anyone hasn't heard of RMs, they are a boot similar to, I guess, Blundstones, like those country farm working boots, but RMs are like schmick. I think they're around $500 for a pair now. And actually, for my 21st birthday, Matt walked me into an R.M. Williams shop and was like, pick out your boots. And I reckon I've worn them like autumn to spring inclusive every year ever since. Anyone who knows me listening to this is like, yeah, I know the boots. And so when I said I'm going to wear them tonight, Matt replied, well, it wouldn't be Mandy if you didn't. And in that moment, I had, you know, the God moment. I stopped. And you know what? All of a sudden it hits you like what the universe has been trying to slap you in the face with. And in that case, it had been trying to slap me in the face all day with it. And I just realised, I was like, oh yeah, it's part of my flavour, you know, the scuffed R.M. Williams boots, the beach hair, the top I chose so I don't have to wear a bra with it. Like, I'd spent the whole day trying to put on someone else's flavour when I needed to just show up as me, you know, my flavour, and bring that, knowing that that's the most powerful thing I could do. And more than anything I could talk about, just showing up as me in the fullness of my energy, you know, in the sovereign state of this is me, and not making any apologies for it. It's definitely the most powerful thing I could have done at that event. So I invite you here, if you haven't already, to think of your favourite ever, I'm talking like ever, ice cream flavour. And all the details as well, you know, even if it's like that one particular place where you're like, that was it, that was the favourite flavour. Or you might be just like, nah, it's a Buffalo Bill. And that's cool too. And my favourite servo ice cream is actually a splice. So nice, you could have it twice. I just think it's like ice cream and icy pole together. So that's probably coming in second to the Stairway to Heaven. Okay, so this flavour, just reflecting on how you're here to bring this flavour to life, and only you can bring that essence of yourself here. There's things that you bring to life that no one else does. And the more that you do that, the more that you have the vulnerability to bring that essence through, the more you'll be able to enjoy other people's flavours without that negative charge associated, because you can come from that place of, oh, I just want to get to know their flavour, without the lack of not knowing or owning yours. So that when someone else is in their flavour, you can go into a space of actually inspiration, knowing that their embodiment of their flavour is a calling and an encouragement for you to bring more of your unique flavour to the table. So I hope you have loved this conversation and concept as much as I love it. Take it and run with it, and enjoy reflecting on it next time you're having that favourite ice cream as a little reminder. So as many of you know, I run this podcast for free, and so your support is so greatly appreciated. So if you love today's topic, if you're on the gram, I'd actually love for you to share it in your socials. Tag me in your stories. I'm at amanda._hill. And let me know your flavour. I thought it could be a fun thing we can do. I'd love to hear what's your favourite flavour, and what you're up to while you're listening. And if you're not on the socials, the number one thing you can do to support this show is simply share it with a friend. So send a link to the Amanda Hill Show or to this episode their way. I'm so grateful for your continued support. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time.